This is the History of New Zealand podcast on the Eat to My Own Beat podcast network. Welcome back to episode 25 of the History of New Zealand podcast. Colonial Defence Force. The Colonial Defence Force, a cavalry unit of 100 men, was formed by Colonel Marmaduke Nixon in May of 1863 and served in Waikato. Militia forces were also used throughout the New Zealand Wars. The Militia Ordinance 1845 provided that compulsory training or service within 40 kilometers of their town by all able-bodied European men between the ages of 18 and 60. The Auckland Militia and volunteers reached a peak of about 1,650 on active service in the early stages of the Waikato campaign, and the last force, the Taranaki Militia, was released from service in 1872. A special 65-man bush-scoring camp, the Forest Rangers, composed of local farmers who were familiar with the bush, had proven guerrilla techniques, and were capable of roughing it, was formed in August of 1863. The Forest Rangers split into two separate companies in November, with the second led by Gustavus von Tempsky, and both served in Waikato and Taranaki. Other Rangers corps during the New Zealand Wars included the Taranaki Bush Rangers, the Patea Rangers, Apokoti Volunteer Rangers, Wanguni Bush Rangers, and Wellington Rangers. From September 1863, the first contingents of what was planned of 5,000 military settlers recruited on the goldfields of Australia and Otago, with promises of free grants of land confiscated from rebel Maori, also began service in Waikato. By the end of October, the number of military settlers, known as the Waikato Militia, had reached more than 2,600, the majority having come from Australia. By March 1864, troop numbers peaked at 9,000 Imperial troops, 4,000 Colonial troops, 3,600 of them being Australian, a few hundred Kapo Maori that fought for the British, for a combined force of about 14,000. In November 1864, Premier Frederick Weld introduced a policy of self-reliance for New Zealand, which included a gradual but complete withdrawal of Imperial troops, who would be replaced by a colonial force of 1,500. The move came at a time rising conflict between Grey, who sought more extensive military operations to pacify the west coast of the North Island between Taranaki and Whanganui, and Cameron, who regarded such a campaign as unnecessary, impractical, and contrary to imperial policy. Grey blocked Cameron's attempts to dispatch the 1st Regiments from New Zealand in 1865, and the 1st Regiment finally embarked in January of 1866. By May of 1865, only 2/18 of the regiment remained in the country, their departure delayed by political pressure over the peril still facing settlers. The last soldiers finally left in February 1870. Thank you for listening to the History of New Zealand podcast. We're found on YouTube and anywhere else you could find your normal podcasts. Please like, comment, and subscribe, or find us at www.eattomyownbeat.com.